The biggest NBA argument of all time is happening right now. LeBron James and Kevin Durant thought they could criticize Michael Jordan, and now it has completely gone wrong for them. It all started on the Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash, where KD made a joke about MJ that was highly disrespectful. And LeBron? He laughed way too much. But this argument was not about statistics, highlights, or the usual trash talk. They attacked something personal, something connected to MJ's family. Yes, it was deeply hurtful. But Jordan did not stay silent. He responded in a way that left the entire NBA world speechless.
He thinks it's funny, but I've got stories that can end his legacy.
But that is just the beginning. MJ didn't just defend himself. He exposed secrets, releasing private information about LeBron's connections to bad people, and even suggesting he used performance-enhancing drugs. Today, we're analyzing everything from the disrespectful joke to MJ's brutal reply, the hidden drama and the shocking truths that could change the way we view LeBron and KD's careers. To completely understand how this started, we must look at the exact moment on the Mind the Game podcast, because the internet first tried to act like it was not a big deal, until everyone noticed the clear disrespect. The whole episode featured just LeBron, Steve Nash, and Kevin Durant talking about the NBA, and suddenly, KD made the sneakiest insult I have ever heard from an NBA player. They were discussing how long players can play, minutes, and players needing rest, and KD said this.
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back.
He said it with a serious face, as if he were just sharing an interesting fact. But no, that was not an interesting fact. That was an insult aimed directly at Michael Jordan's pain. KD basically suggested Mike quit when the situation got hard. But the shocking part was not even the statement, it was LeBron's reaction. You can see how LeBron tried to hold back his laughter for a moment, then he burst into a full laugh. And it was clear this was not the first time they had discussed this. They had been talking about it in private. But context is important here, because Michael's baseball season was the direct result of his father's murder and the emotional pain that followed. Everyone said that decision was strange, but those who lived through it know it was just a son honoring his father's dream. So when KD turned that into a joke, he was basically attacking the one thing Mike never jokes about. And when that video clip was posted online, social media harshly criticized LeBron and KD. The comments were brutal, the video became extremely viral, and sports content creators were not letting the topic go either.
This is nothing but a Michael Jordan diss, bro. A Michael Jordan headshot. And it's crazy coming for a like KD, who has literally talking about commitment.
And let us be honest, KD knows better. He studies the game and knows its history. That is why it was clear to everyone that this was an intentional attack on MJ. And LeBron laughing just made it 10 times worse. One person making a bad joke is one thing, but two superstars smiling about the GOAT's most devastating moment is the most insensitive thing I have seen in a long time. It is like, if you were going to criticize MJ, at least talk about something competitive. Talk about his Wizards years, or him punching teammates. Attack anything else, not the one thing that came from pure sadness. And yes, I saw people saying KD did not mean it that way. That is nice, but intent does not matter when the impact is that loud. The moment LeBron laughed, the whole conversation changed. What upsets me is KD and LeBron always act like they are above drama, but somehow they always end up creating the most drama. KD is sensitive about everything, but he is here starting conflicts on a podcast. LeBron always tries to act like he is friendly with MJ publicly, but the minute he thinks he can make a joke, he is laughing like he is at a comedy show. But if there is one thing we have learned watching MJ for decades, it is that he only stays quiet until you push him too far. And KD and LeBron truly attacked the one subject they should have avoided. The shocking part is that people acted like that moment was some great betrayal, when honestly, if you look at the history between LeBron and MJ, it makes perfect sense. Those two do not like each other, and they never have. And with this new event, they probably never will. And the more evidence you find, the more it becomes clear that LeBron laughing at KD's MJ joke was not a mistake. It was completely expected. The clearest example is that Pat McAfee interview earlier this year. LeBron finally just said it out loud. He and Michael Jordan do not talk at all.
You and Michael at a good spot.
Who, me and Michael?
Jordan?
Yeah, we're a good spot. We don't talk.
Why not, you think?
Because I'm still playing.
And LeBron tried to explain it by saying MJ is simply too competitive. He claimed MJ cannot bring himself to talk with another active star until that player retires. I remember thinking, really? That's the reason? Because the MJ I know talks to plenty of active players. He talked with Kobe so much that they eventually became like brothers. And Kobe was an even greater threat to MJ than LeBron will ever be. That excuse sounded like when you ask someone why their friend doesn't visit anymore, and they say, oh no, they're just busy. Yeah, sure. What made it even stranger is LeBron saying that once he retires, then they will become close. That is like someone saying they will finally text their father after moving out. Brother, if you are not close now, retirement is not suddenly going to make MJ pick up the phone. If anything, the fact that LeBron even said that shows he feels the distance. And honestly, you do not say something like that unless it has been bothering you for years. But this distance is not new. You can literally go back to the 2022 All-Star Game in Cleveland and see it happen instantly. Remember that moment when MJ came out during the 75th ceremony and the whole arena went wild? He was hugging everybody that night. But the moment he walked up to LeBron, you could feel the atmosphere change. MJ gave him this quick, cold, hey man, type handshake that looked like two guys who used to be friends but have not spoken in months. And then MJ kept walking, saw Luka, and suddenly he lit up like he just spotted his long-lost nephew.
What's up, dude? Jackson! You got it? Okay, guys, everybody!
The whole feeling instantly changed, and it was truly surprising because in LeBron's own stadium on his own night, MJ showed more real warmth to Luka Doncic than to LeBron James. And can you blame him? Let us not forget, LeBron has challenged MJ before. The moment LeBron declared himself the greatest NBA player of all time on camera after the 2016 finals, that was the first major break in their relationship.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For
That's
so
what I
many
felt.
reasons.
Before that, LeBron always called MJ his idol. He wore number 23, copied MJ's celebrations, and called him the reason I picked up a basketball. Then one night, he suddenly crowned himself the GOAT while MJ was at home minding his business. MJ is competitive at his core, but he is also full of pride. If you were going to take his throne, that is fine. Earn it, but do not declare it yourself on HBO. And then there is the one-on-one discussion. Every few years, old videos reappear of LeBron saying he would beat MJ in a prime versus prime match, and he never says it hungrily either. He always adds some joke like they would need wheelchairs or stretchers after the game, as if he is creating a movie poster. Look at this.
LeBron in his prime, Michael in his prime one-on-one. Who wins that game?
Myself, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna take myself versus anybody. I'll tell you one thing, they're gonna have to have a few wheelchairs and a couple ambulances there to get us off the floor.
And that is fine when you are talking about average players. But when you were talking about the man whose career history you have been chasing your whole life, you can see why MJ might not be happy to hear that. And that is exactly why KD's little baseball joke was not just funny or innocent. It was deeply hurtful, because that chapter in MJ's life was not some random temporary job. It is connected to his father, James Jordan Sr. Around the time of his death, Michael had been dealing with a gambling habit. It was not careless in the way people imagine, but it did grow enough that it indirectly started a series of events he never expected. And tragically, his father allegedly ended up paying the ultimate price for that.
And there was a lot of heat on the fact that because of Michael's gambling habit, his father paid the price.
Michael didn't plan it. He didn't see it coming, and the guilt he carried for years is impossible to describe. The baseball connection is not just a coincidence. Jordan Sr. loved baseball. He grew up playing it, taught his sons the game, and it was always a dream he wanted to see come true. When Michael left basketball to play minor league baseball, he wasn't being random. He was honoring his father's memory, trying to fulfill a dream for the man who had been taken from him. But the pressure didn't stop at home. The media had a great time. Headlines were crazy. Jordan quits basketball for baseball. MJ escapes NBA pressure. Was he suspended? Conspiracy theories spread quickly. Some even suggested that the league forced him out. None of that was true, but Michael had to live through it anyway. The mental weight of carrying the Bulls, the NBA, his father's death, and all the gossip surrounding him, it was insane. And if you know anything about MJ, he doesn't take disrespect lightly. Do you think KD's joke or LeBron's laugh would be okay with anyone else? Maybe. But with MJ, he has a way of remembering every small offense and delivering his response perfectly. Just look at his Hall of Fame speech.
And at this time, I had no thoughts of coming back and playing the game of basketball. So when I did decide to come back in 1995, and then we played Utah in 96, I'm at the center circle, and Brian Russell sitting next to me, and I look over to Brian. I say, you remember this conversation you made in 1994 about I think I can guard you, I can shut you down, I would love to play against you. Well, you about to get your chance.
He was not there to be sentimental or weak. He was there to show his dominance, to make sure everyone understood what was at stake, and to remind the world why he is untouchable. That speech was not just a celebration of his career, it was a masterclass in responding to disrespect. And that is why KD and LeBron should never, ever attack the things MJ values most. The emotional weight of this story is exactly why MJ is untouchable. You can joke about statistics, championships, or highlight videos. You can argue about athleticism, leadership, or clutch moments, but you do not touch his baseball year. At the end of the day, this is a man who turned grief into greatness. He transformed personal tragedy into motivation and handled media conspiracies, public scrutiny, and NBA pressure while still becoming the greatest to ever play the game. But it did not all end there, because MJ responded to LeBron, and wow, it was brutal.
He was caught dressed like my housekeeper and calls himself the GOAT.
This makes the situation much more embarrassing for LeBron because LeBron's past is full of moments that make him look, let us just say, less than perfect. This man's history alone makes that laugh feel even more insensitive, especially since he is supposed to be the greatest NBA player of all time. And to understand how serious this goes, this happened around the time he went on the call with Diddy and said this.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. We all know who Diddy is. This man literally hosted extreme parties and has been connected to some of the darkest crimes imaginable. Yet that is who LeBron decided to be best friends with. Well, that video is trending again, and not in a good way, because people are asking, was LeBron just supporting Diddy or was he more involved than he admits? This is because he regularly attended Diddy's parties and promoted them publicly. Then, when Diddy was arrested and found guilty, LeBron suddenly stayed silent. For a player with a public image of being a nice guy, being associated with one of hip-hop's most scandal-heavy figures is bad. Then there is Bronny, LeBron's son. LeBron has gained so much power in the league, and it is no secret he is greatly influencing Bronny's path.
The LeBron situation, because what LeBron essentially did here is he used nepotism to get his son a job in the NBA. That's basically what this was. And most people agree that's what happened. Bronny James, the son, did not play his way into the NBA. Most people generally agree with that.
For someone who is constantly arguing with MJ's legacy, getting his son into the NBA through nepotism was not a smart move. And what about the performance-enhancing drug stuff? Let us not avoid the topic. Jeff Teague openly said LeBron sat out when HGH testing started, then came back looking physically different.
He was on steroids, bro. He had to sit out. He was on steroids for real. Y'all remember that though?
No.
But they was like, he got everybody, they started testing for HGH. And they was like, yo. And he had to sit out. Like he said his back was hurt and he sat out for like 3 weeks and he came back skinny. This is just, I was in the league. I remember.
Then there is the rumor of Delonte West and LeBron's mom, Gloria James. Yes, one of the most infamous NBA scandals ever linked to LeBron. West allegedly got involved with LeBron's mom during his Cleveland days. LeBron stayed quiet, let the drama continue, and the whole locker room felt the tension. You do not get to laugh at someone else's pain when your own history is this messy. I mean, we never heard a rumor of MJ's teammates getting involved with Dolores Jordan. On top of all that, LeBron's power complex is not just on the court, it is also in the front office. Every proper NBA fan knows how he pressures trades and basically controls the team he plays for. Also, LeBron is not chasing greatness, he is chasing cultural fame. From his strange public announcements to the movies, it is clear he is trying to match MJ, but MJ did not need product placement to prove he was the GOAT. MJ was the product. The man literally has the most successful sneaker franchise in the world. Then there is social media. LeBron does not challenge people directly. He either uses vague tweets or criticizes quietly, that passive-aggressive nonsense. But MJ confronts people head-on. That is the biggest difference. LeBron would never have the guts to laugh like that in MJ's face. And even the greats see through him. Charles Barkley and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar have publicly questioned his methods, and they do not hide it.
To not have passed Michael in 30-point games, and he's played, I think he's on year 20, right?
So when we put it all together, Diddy's parties, Bronny, performance-enhancing pills, Delonte West being with his mom, all of that, and LeBron still dares to laugh at MJ's deepest, most personal pain, that is not ignorance. That is someone actively choosing to mock what he cannot touch. But at least he is one of the best of this era. What about KD? What level of achievement does he think he has to have made such a tasteless joke?
Kevin Durant might be a good player on the court, but his off-court behavior and history make it obvious he is insecure, entitled, and overly sensitive. You want to challenge the GOAT? You better make sure your own career history is perfect. Let us start with the burner accounts. Yes, KD has multiple fake Twitter accounts. He has admitted himself that he hides behind these accounts to criticize haters. Think about that. The guy who wants to throw shade at MJ cannot even handle public criticism. He hides behind fake profiles to defend himself. Then there is the Warriors move, which is probably the biggest hit to his credibility. When KD was playing with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were up 3-1 in the 2016 Western Conference Finals, but then they lost to the Warriors. And instead of trying to come back stronger with his team, KD jumped ship and moved straight to that same team that had just embarrassed his former team. He did not challenge himself, he did not test his limits, he just went and joined the super team, and he openly said he would do it again 1,000,000 times. At least now we know that is the only reason he was able to get his 2 rings. Oh, MJ has 6, by the way. But somehow KD felt like he was in a position to mock MJ? What about his time with the Brooklyn Nets? It was total chaos. He demanded trades, clashed with coaches, and created a toxic environment that everyone in the league was talking about. Reports said he was micromanaging the team, influencing front office decisions and deciding which players got minutes, and basically expecting everyone to agree with his vision. So of course he would get along with LeBron. Loyalty, accountability, resilience, none of that mattered. It was all about KD's comfort and control. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan built the Chicago Bulls through hard work, skill, and pure leadership. He inspired teammates, earned respect, and faced every challenge head-on. Even Charles Barkley is called KD sensitive and plainly said that NBA legends will not fully respect him until he wins a championship without the Warriors.
KD is a great, great player. He's sensitive, 100% sensitive. What I said, and I stick by, KD is a great, great player. But he's going to have to win a championship without the Warriors to get the old heads' respect. And I used the analogy. I said, Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest ever, said, I had to win a championship without...
And guess what? KD hasn't won a championship since he left the Warriors. And instead of dealing with that criticism like an adult, this was how he responded, like a little kid.
Trying to get back your timing and conditioning, really, to be honest, correct?
Yeah.
It is either that, or he goes full public with arguments, criticisms, and petty conflicts with fans, journalists, teammates, and even legends on Twitter. KD can score, KD can shoot, but he will never match MJ in cultural influence, dominance, or pure competitive drive. So yes, there was no reason for that joke. It is almost as if they have not learned from history. Once you disrespect an NBA legend, the universe or the legend themselves will humble you every single time. Take Dwight Howard, for example. In 2013, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went on ESPN and talked about his lack of basketball intelligence. He plainly said Howard was not thinking the game through and questioned his dominance. Dwight argued back and mentioned his 3 Defensive Player of the Year trophies, but his reply felt wrong. Kareem doubled down, saying Dwight did not want to put in the work. Howard tried to fight back, but he just ended up looking insecure. And even LeBron himself has had his own share of disrespect. Think back to Lance Stevenson in 2014. The guy leaned in and literally blew air in LeBron's ear in the Eastern Conference Finals because he thought it was funny, just like LeBron and KD thought, but it backfired terribly. Look at the younger players who tried to mock Kobe or MJ back in the day. Old clips, interviews, rookie chatter, all of it came back to hurt them. What about Shaq? Do not even get me started. Shaq spent his career destroying anyone who dared disrespect him. Centers tried to talk trash or challenge him, and Shaq annihilated them on the court. So here is the pattern. Disrespect a legend and you get humbled every single time. Whether it's public criticism, dominating on the court, or just letting history judge you, it comes back. And let us be clear, MJ is not just any legend, he is the GOAT. Disrespecting him is not a fun side note, it's arrogance at its peak. Legends do not easily forgive offenses, not even someone like MJ, and the fans remember. So KD and LeBron just painted giant targets on themselves. No matter how much they try to change it, everyone knows he is the standard. He is dominance, culture, fear, and legacy wrapped into one untouchable package. Championships? Check. Cultural influence? Off the charts. Competitive fire? Check. This is not just about statistics or highlight reels. This is MJ defending the throne. He has been tested, mocked, and challenged his entire career. And every time he responds, it's usually dangerous for the person on the other side. So if you think you will just let KD or LeBron slide because it's a joke, you're fooling yourself. Now I have a question.
MJ mentioned at the beginning that he had some more stories that could ruin LeBron's legacy. Should he expose more? I mean, we've only seen the maid dress and the video with Diddy. Imagine the clips and secrets MJ has that could destroy LeBron. But you know what's funny? MJ wouldn't do that. That's not his style. He lets the record speak. So ask yourselves, if you were MJ, would you let the disrespect slide?